Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
Police are still searching for a man who made a bogus phone call last night, which led to the SWAT team surrounding a Grand Forks Walmart store. Good evening and thanks for joining us. It was the same store where 2 people died and another was wounded during a shooting in May. As Valley News Team's Neil Carlson now shows us, while that phone call was bogus, police say it doesn't rule out a possible threat still.
Police say a man called this Grand Forks Walmart Sunday night and said he was in the store armed, holding hostages and demanding money. And he threatened to kill a hostage if police tried to enter the store. Then the suspect said he was joking and hung up the phone.
And while this incident may be characterized as a prank call, police say that does not mean the person who made the call does not have evil intent on his mind for a later date.
Absolutely. We don't know if, maybe the guy isn't in the store at the exact time he's calling. He's testing response and when he realizes that the officers aren't taking it serious, then maybe a person does actually go in there and carry out their threats.
A Walmart spokesperson says they have very strong security measures already in place to make sure everyone stays safe.
We have very strong security at the store.
Can you talk at all about what measures are taken to make sure people are safe?
We don't share our security measures publicly for obvious reasons, but we do have very strong measures in place.
Meanwhile, police continue searching for the suspect who could be facing felony charges.
Because of the situation, because of the crime that was alleged and the history of that business, there could potentially be maybe terrorizing charges and things along those lines.
In Grand Forks, Neil Carlson, Valley News Live.
Police say they may publicly release a recording of the suspect's voice at a later date. For now, though, they're asking you to contact them if you have any information connected to this incident. Well, it was a wild, destructive day yesterday. Just look at this. Storms ripped through North Dakota and northern Minnesota. Here's video of some damage from storms that produced hail, strong winds, heavy rain, even a few tornadoes that touched down. Let's go now to our chief meteorologist, Hutch Johnson, who was there nearly all day right here tracking the storms for us. So what can we expect tonight, Hutch?
Well, definitely quieter weather, but we do have a few storms on the radar. Not anticipating severe tonight, although we may have isolated severe storms capable of hail will be the primary threat. Some funnel clouds are also possible tonight, but we don't expect any widespread outbreaks. Taking a look just north of the FM area, we have one cell. There's a boundary temperature-wise. It's cool 70s in Devil's Lake to Grand Forks, but mid to upper 80s. Look at Aberdeen and Mobridge in the low to mid 90s. So quite a boundary in the area. Along that boundary, we're seeing some thunder showers forming. None of them lasting too long and none of them producing much more than maybe pea-size hail, maybe marble-size hail moving into War Road and toward Roseau now. Also, the lakes area near Devil's Lake seeing some activity. So hit and miss showers this evening out there. Fargo, yes, we could see a thunder shower, but otherwise hot and sticky continues. Temperatures in the low 80s until sunset. Then I think the storms diminish overnight. So quieter tonight. Good. That's welcome. I'll have details on the rest of our 7-day outlook in a few moments.
And you need to get some rest as long as many others who are out there.
I got a few winks, yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
Thanks, Hutch. Jury selection has started this morning in the case of a man accused of killing his roommate at a home in North Fargo last June. Christopher Hampton was believed to say that his roommate had been trying to poison him. Hampton is accused of shooting Randall Donor in the back and the head at a house in North Fargo in June of last year. Hampton has pleaded not guilty. Well, if there is an issue in your community you want us to look into, call our whistleblower hotline at 701-237-6576. Leave your tip with us, and then a member of our investigative team will get on the case and go to work exposing the truth. Funeral services were held today for a Minnesota teenager who lost his fight for life against a brain infection that he most likely contracted when swimming in a Minnesota lake. Hunter Putain was swimming at a lake in Minnewaska when he believed to have contracted a very rare and very severe infection caused by an amoeba. Hunter's funeral was held at the Holiday Inn in Alexandria. He was involved in orchestra and jazz band while at Discovery Middle School in Alexandria. According to the Minnesota Department of Health, this is the third known case of this brain infection in Minnesota. Ever since the mid-70s, there's been a ban on most U.S. crude oil exports, spurred by massive oil shortages. Now, with those shortages in the rearview mirror, some lawmakers are trying to lift that ban. Our Washington correspondent Nick Starling tells us why this bill is gaining momentum.
With technology advancements in recent years, oil production has soared, allowing for possible surplus in oil exports. But there's a roadblock in a way some lawmakers are trying to clear. One of those leaders is North Dakota Congressman Kevin Kramer. He says one of the problems when this bill was introduced was educating other members on why this ban needs to be lifted. Now the bill has over 100 bipartisan co-sponsors. Those for eliminating the export ban say this will lower your gas prices and create thousands of new jobs.
Well, that's a lot of new jobs. And that's not just in the oil patch, that's the supply chain. That's up and down. That affects all 50 states. It affects a lot of the trades. And it doesn't even address the tertiary or indirect jobs that would be created. So we really are seeing the education process play out a little bit here.
Kramer says he hopes Congress can pass this bill before the August recess. One of the ways he says they can do that is attach it to the highway bill, which some lawmakers say is a must-pass bill. Reporting in Washington, I'm Nick Starling.
Now, some opponents of lifting the crude oil export ban question whether this will really lower gas prices. Some oil refineries are against this, saying removing the ban could hurt their profits, shipping more oil overseas. One woman was injured following a two-vehicle crash in Grand Forks this morning. It happened just before 9:30 at the intersection of Belmont Road and 4th Avenue South. The driver of the Chevy van, Melissa Gardner of East Grand Forks, was issued a citation for disregard of a traffic signal. The driver of the Dodge Caravan, Hepzibah Nelson of Grand Forks, was not injured, but a woman passenger was transported to Altru Hospital with unknown injuries that did not appear to be life-threatening. Drivers may have to get creative when traveling through town, as some roads are being temporarily closed. Today, 1st Avenue North is closed to eastbound traffic between University Drive and 7th Street North. Eastbound traffic will be detoured to 1st Avenue South. Westbound traffic reduced to one lane. Parking will also not be allowed on 1st Avenue North between University Drive and 7th Street North. The closure should last about 2 days. And another closure to be aware of. Crews have closed Airport Road and the frontage road access near Kmart off Highway 10 for about 2 days. Businesses in the area will remain accessible using Wenner Road, and once the work is complete, Airport Road will reopen and Wenner Road will close for paving. Well, the Fargo Street Department's making some repairs today to a broken water main that flooded a North Side street. The big puddle shut down an area near 7th Street and 7th Avenue North for several hours yesterday. Now, the area is closed again today so crews can repair it. Westbound traffic is being detoured on 8th Avenue North via 7th Street North and 8th Street North. Eastbound traffic detoured on 6th Avenue North via 7th Street North and 8th Street North. The road is expected to be reopened by the end of the day on Friday. Store shelves are again being stocked with notebooks, pencils, and backpacks already. School may still be weeks away, but you can start donating supplies now to United Way of Cast Clay. They're kicking off their annual 17th school supply drive tomorrow. Donations help kids in the area living in poverty start school off with all the tools they need to be successful.
The children are just excited to get the sparkly backpack or the fun backpack with the, the character that they like on it. But the parents are the ones that are relieved to know that they don't have to go out and purchase those supplies that they may not be able to do. And so their kid gets to start out the school year just like any other kid.
You can also help your dollar go a little bit further by donating online. We have a link to the United Way's page on valleynewslive.com. Click on the hot button. Well, do you like running, jogging, or walking and also giving back to our community? Well, there's an opportunity in Moorhead to do that this week. First, Link is holding for some volunteers and looking for them to help people with disabilities learn how to ride a bike. The event goes today through Friday. Volunteers will walk, jog, or run about 3 miles a day. To register as a volunteer, head to valleynewslive.com and click on the hot button. Still ahead.